Hi, and welcome to another instructional video for CSCI 1300. In this video, we will tackle how to solve a problem from start to finish based on identifying inputs and expecting outputs. In your textbook and in your 2.1 section, there is a problem listed about trying to simulate a vending machine operation. A customer selects an item for purchase and inserts a bill into the vending machine. The vending machine dispenses the purchased item and gives change. We will assume that all item prices are multiples of 25 cents, and the machine gives all change in dollar coins and quarters. Your task is to compute how many coins of each type to return back to the person using the machine. So we have to identify the inputs. That's usually the first step with any kind of word problem. So where are the inputs and what are we getting as our desired outputs? Can we kind of predict what we should throw into the program, and can we predict what we're going to get out of the program? In this particular example, we do have two inputs that we can identify: the denomination of the bill that the customer inserts into the machine, and the price of the purchased item selected by the person using the machine. The two desired outputs that we can determine from this is that there is going to be some number of dollar coins that the machine will return, and there will be some number of quarters that will also be returned back to the user of the machine. So now let's kind of come up with a way of dealing with this in pseudocode before moving into real code. Given an arbitrary price for an item and payment, how can you compute the coins due to the user? Well, we have to think about how many pennies are going to be used in the computation. So the amount due can be simplified to 100 times the bill value minus the item price in pennies. To get the dollars, we'd have to divide by 100 again and discard the remainder. So dollar coins would equal the amount due, which we just calculated, divided by 100 without remainder. The remaining amount due can be computed in two ways. If you are familiar with the modulus operator, you can simply compute the amount due will equal to itself modulo 100. Alternatively, you can subtract the penny value of the dollar coins from the amount due. This will get you the same answer, and that would be the amount due is equal to itself minus 100 times the dollar coins. To get the quarters, you will have to divide quarters by the amount. We'll have to divide by 25. So quarters will equal the amount due that we've just calculated divided by 25. Let's now define variables and constants that we will need and specify what they will do. Here we have at least 5 variables. We have the bill value, the item price, the amount due, the dollar coins, and quarters. We can introduce constants to explain 125 as pennies per dollar and pennies per quarter. This will make it easier to convert the program to international markets, so we will go ahead and take this step and use constants. Now it is important to note that amount due and pennies per dollar are of type integer because the computation of dollar coins uses integer division. Similarly, the other variables are integers. So in pseudocode, let's take a look at what we've come up with. The amount due will equal the pennies per dollar times the bill value minus the item price. Dollar coins should equal the amount due divided by the pennies per dollar. The amount due should be equal to itself modulo pennies per dollar. And finally, quarters should equal to amount due divided by the pennies per quarter. You can follow along with the code that is written in your textbook, and we're going to test the output of our program now. I've gone ahead and typed up what was in your book in the example, and you can see here on lines 7 and 8, we are using constant integers for pennies and quarters, or dollars and pennies and quarters. And we will gather input for the bill value from the user, and we will gather the value of the item price in pennies. From that, we will calculate an amount due, the dollar coins, and we will calculate quarters after redefining amount due. Lastly, we are going to be using set width, so we'll be using the IO manipulation library, and we will print out our results back to the user. So, if we are to follow the example, let's see here, we need to enter $5 and 225 pennies. So, let's go ahead and compile our vending program. We're going to enter $5 for the bill value and enter 225 for the item price in pennies. And notice that we get out $2 coins and 3 quarters. So our calculations match our desired output from our program. That's all for this instructional video. Thanks and happy coding!